But I think the key one for me was always just feeling like I was an intruder in the space and that potentially I was engaging in something that wasn't for me.
In terms of the challenges I've faced as a female in a sports environment, it's largely been around being involved in a technical performance sporting environment where I was often the only woman with few role models and very few other women to network with. In that technical environment, there were often limiting assumptions made about my ability as a technical coach. That I was often unable to kind of break that barrier down. Thankfully, things have changed. UK Sport are investing heavily in female coaching networks, female administrators, and the home country sports associations are following. Still plenty of work to do in that area, but it has been a challenge throughout my career.
So I think the biggest challenge I probably faced was the lack of sort of female community around the sport. When I first started playing events and leagues, I joined a women's team which folded in its first season. The rest of the time I just played in men's teams. I only really joined a women's team when I got to university, so that was quite a long time of no female teams. I also used to go to so many competitions where it would be a draw of 8 and 7 boys plus me. Similarly to training, it was normally just me and all the boys, so yeah, I think the lack of female community was definitely a big challenge.
Like many women, I have faced lots of challenges over the years in regards to participating and staying engaged in sport and physical activity, but I think the key one for me was always just feeling like I was an intruder in the space and that potentially I was engaging in something that wasn't for me, and that when I was playing, and I still play just now, that I had to prove myself in order to take part, that I had to be competent and play at a high standard instead of just having fun and relaxing and seeing my friends and all the wonderful things that sport should be about.
There's been some challenges over the years, most commonly being the only female in a group of males, so at a training session say, so as a junior and an adult that happens. That can be difficult, but some more difficult situations are if I felt that I'm actually being treated differently or disadvantaged because I'm a female. So that has happened at competitions where I felt my male counterparts are being given preferential treatment. Number of clubs in the past have been known to put the women's or the girls' matches at competitions on the back courts at the club and leave the front courts, the show courts, for the men or the boys. So that can give you the impression that people are more likely to want to watch men or women or boys play squash rather than girls or women, so which is obviously unfair. So that sort of thing doesn't happen as much now as it used to, but it does still happen, unfortunately.
One of the biggest challenges I feel I've faced being a woman in sport is probably just having the confidence in my ability to do my job. Coaching is quite a male-dominated profession, and it can be easy to compare yourself to your male colleagues and doubt kind of what you're doing. So probably the biggest thing for me is trying to overcome that and be confident in what I'm doing. I'm very lucky in my current role, and my coaching colleagues are very supportive of what I do and my abilities, and that's really helped a lot.
Being a girl and now a woman in sport and squash, I do feel quite lucky in the sense that there hasn't been too many things that I've encountered to be difficult due to my gender. There's a few things that spring to mind, starting off as a little kid when I played in the boys football team as a little girl. That was frowned upon, and then I was told that I could no longer compete in the boys team and I had to wait until hopefully a girls team started. Another memory I have is as a junior player growing up, getting to the final of tournaments, and the boys final was always last. It was on the Sunday afternoon and it was seen to be the highlight of the weekend. and the under 19 girls event, or under 17, under 15, whatever age group you like, the girls were always first, and it was almost like, felt like a warm-up to the main event. And that's something that I feel has continued through into seniors at PSA tour events. Certainly the women, they go on first for their final, followed by what feels like the main event, why everybody is there for the men's final. Other than that, there's fortunately not been much sexism in my sport, or that I have certainly experienced. The PSA World Tour has done an incredible job in making sure that prize money is as equal as possible across the board. Now, 10 years ago, when I was just beginning my career, that certainly wasn't the case. The prize money differences between male and female was quite large. But certainly now that gap has closed. Otherwise, I feel quite lucky that there hasn't been anything that I've encountered due to being female.